Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Podcast with PodQuiver. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex. Today, we're discussing a book that changed the way I look at my wallet. It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
I've heard about this book. It's interesting because usually money books are full of charts and stock tips. But this one says money is actually about psychology?
Exactly. Housel's main argument is, doing well with money has a little to do with how smart you are, and a lot to do with how you behave.
Behavior over intelligence. That is good news for me because I was terrible at math in high school.
You don't need calculus to be rich, Sarah. Let me tell you the incredible true story of two men. First, meet Ronald Reed.
Ronald Reed was a janitor and a gas station attendant in rural Vermont. He lived a very quiet, humble life. He fixed cars, swept floors, and chopped wood.
Okay, a janitor. Seems like a regular, hard-working guy.
Very regular. But when he died in 2014 at age 92, he made international headlines. Do you know why?
I have no idea. Did he win the lottery?
No lottery. When he died, people were shocked to find out he had a net worth of $8 million US. He left $2 million to his stepkids and donated $6 million to his local library and hospital.
Wait, what? A janitor saved $8 million? How is that even mathematically possible on a minimum wage salary?
It wasn't magic. It was frugality and compounding. He saved a little bit every month, invested it in blue-chip stocks, and waited decades. He let time do the work.
Now, let's compare him to Richard Fusconi. Richard was everything Ronald was not. A Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive. He was so successful in finance that he retired at age 40 to become a philanthropist.
Okay, so Richard is the smart one. Harvard degree, retired young. He must have been loaded.
He was. But Richard had a behavioral problem. He was greedy. He borrowed heavily to expand his massive mansion. Then the 2008 financial crisis hit. He had high debt and illiquid assets. A few months after Ronald Reed donated his millions to charity, Richard Fusconi filed for bankruptcy.
That is insane. The Harvard genius went broke, and the janitor died a multimillionaire.
It proves Housel's point. Financial success is a soft skill, where how you behave is more important than what you know.
Soft skill. Usually, we use that word for things like communication or teamwork. I never thought of money management as a soft skill.
It is. You can be an architectural genius, but if you lose your temper, you can't build a house. In finance, you can be a math genius, but if you can't control your emotions, you will go broke.
It reminds me of people panic selling their stocks when the market goes down. That's emotion, right?
Exactly. Ronald Reed didn't panic. He just waited. Richard Fusconi was arrogant. He thought he could outsmart the market.
This is a powerful opening. Before we move to the next concept, let's review the vocabulary from this story. First, frugality.
Frugality means being careful with money or food, not being wasteful. Ronald Reed was the master of frugality.
Next, philanthropist. A wealthy person who gives money to help others.
Then, bankruptcy. The legal state of being unable to pay your debts. The Harvard grad went bankrupt.
Okay, Alex, so behavior is key. But surely luck plays a part too? Ronald Reed must have been lucky with his stock picks.
That is a great question. Housel says luck and risk are siblings, and we often ignore them. We'll discuss the dangerous role of luck in Part 2. Welcome back to Part 2. Before the break, Sarah asked, "Did the janitor just get lucky?" The answer is, maybe. Housel says that luck and risk are siblings. They are two sides of the same coin, but we hate to admit it.
Why do we hate it? Is it because it hurts our ego?
Exactly. If I say, I became a millionaire because I worked hard, I feel proud. If I say, I became a millionaire because I got lucky, I feel like a fraud. We love to ignore the role of luck.
Can you give us a concrete example?
Let's look at Bill Gates, one of the richest men in history. He is undeniably a genius and a hard worker. But let's look at the math of his success. In 1968, Bill Gates went to Lakeside School in Seattle. It was the only high school in the world that had a computer.
Wait, the only one in the world?
Basically, yes. Most universities didn't even have computers. But this one high school had a connection to a teletype machine. So 13-year-old Bill Gates had unlimited access to code. Gates himself said, "If there had been no Lakeside, there would be no Microsoft." The odds of him being at that specific school were about 1 in a million.
Wow, so he was a statistical outlier. That is extreme luck.
Yes, but here is the dark side. Remember, luck has a sibling called risk. Meet Kent Evans. Kent Evans was Bill Gates' best friend in 8th grade. Gates said Kent was the smartest student in the class, even smarter than him. They planned to conquer the world together.
So why have I never heard of Kent Evans? Did he not start Microsoft?
No. Before they graduated high school, Kent went mountaineering and died in a tragic accident.
Oh my God, that is heartbreaking.
The odds of a high school student dying in a mountaineering accident are roughly 1 in a million.
I see the parallel now. Bill Gates experienced 1 in a million luck, getting the computer. Kent Evans experienced 1 in a million risk, the accident.
Precisely. Same force, different direction. One pushed you up, one pushed you down. The lesson here is, be careful when you judge people.
What do you mean?
When you see a billionaire, don't assume they are 100% smart. Maybe there was luck involved. And when you see a bankrupt person, don't assume they are lazy. Maybe they hit the risk side of the coin.
That is profound. We tend to attribute success to skill and failure to bad luck. But for other people, we do the opposite.
Yes. So, Housel advises us, focus less on specific individuals, like Elon Musk or Bill Gates, and focus more on broad patterns.
Because specific stories might be luck, but patterns are, what's the word?
Replicable, meaning you can copy them. You can't replicate Bill Gates' luck of going to Lakeside, but you can replicate Ronald Reed's pattern of saving money every month.
Okay, that is a huge lesson. Let's pause for vocabulary. We used 3 academic words there. First, outlier.
An outlier is a data point that differs significantly from other observations. Bill Gates was an outlier.
Second, attribute. It's a verb here, to say that something is caused by something else. He attributes his success to hard work.
And third, replicable. Able to be copied or reproduced. Winning the lottery is not replicable. Saving 10% of your income is replicable.
So we have luck and risk. But Alex, getting money is one thing. Keeping it is another. I heard Housel has a specific warning about this.
He does. He says, getting wealthy and staying wealthy are 2 completely different skills. We will explore why rich people lose it all in the next part. Welcome back to part 3. We are talking about the distinct difference between getting rich and staying rich.
Distinct difference? Aren't they the same skill? If I know how to make $1 million, surely I know how to keep it.
Surprisingly, no. Housel argues they are opposite skills. Getting wealthy requires optimism. You need to take risks. You need to swing for the fences.
Okay, and staying wealthy?
Staying wealthy requires paranoia. It requires a fear that everything you've made can be taken away from you. It requires humility.
Paranoia sounds stressful, but I guess it's necessary. Do we have a story for this one?
Of course. Let me tell you about Jesse Livermore. He was the greatest stock trader of his generation. Let's go back to 1929. The stock market crashed. The Great Depression began. Millionaires were jumping out of windows because they lost everything. It was chaos.
A dark time in history.
But not for Jesse. On that day, his wife was crying at home, thinking they were ruined. But Jesse came home smiling. He told her, "Honey, I just made more money today than ever before."
How? Everyone else was broke.
He shorted the market. He bet that the market would crash. In one day, he made $100 million. In today's money, that is over $3 billion. He was one of the richest men in the world.
Wow, so he was a genius at getting wealthy.
Yes, but he was terrible at staying wealthy. Because he won so big, he felt invincible. He thought he could never lose. He kept making bigger and bigger bets.
Oh no, I think I know where this is going. Overconfidence?
Exactly. Hubris. Within 4 years, he lost everything. He went bankrupt. And sadly, in 1940, he took his own life.
That is tragic. From $3 billion to nothing. Because he didn't have the stop button?
Correct. He lacked a survival mindset. Housel says, planning is important, but the most important part of every plan is to plan on the plan not going according to plan.
That's a tongue twister. Plan on the plan not going according to plan. Is that what they call a margin of safety?
Yes. A margin of safety is building a bridge that holds 10,000 tons, even if you only drive a 2-ton truck over it. You prepare for the worst.
So, who is the opposite of Jesse Livermore?
Warren Buffett. Everyone studies how Buffett picks stocks, but Housel says his real secret isn't picking stocks. It's longevity.
Longevity. Just surviving for a long time?
Yes. Buffett has been investing for 80 years. He survived 14 recessions. He never panicked. He never sold everything. He never used excessive debt. He just survived.
It goes back to compounding. You can't get the compound interest if you get wiped out in year 5. You have to stay in the game.
Exactly. Housel calls this sensible optimism. You should be paranoid about the short term, saving money for emergencies, but optimistic about the long term, investing for the future.
That's a great balance. Paranoid today, optimistic for tomorrow. Okay, let's wrap up this intense section with a vocabulary review. First word, hubris.
Hubris is excessive pride or self-confidence, often leading to a downfall. Jesse Livermore had hubris.
Second, margin of safety. This is room for error, like having a spare tire for your car, even if you don't plan to get a flat tire.
And third, longevity. Long life or existence. In investing, longevity is the key to compounding.
So, surviving gives us more money. But Alex, what is the point of all this money? Is it just to buy Ferraris?
Housel says no. The highest dividend money pays is not luxury. It's freedom. We will talk about the true value of wealth in the final part. Welcome to the finale. We have talked about getting rich and staying rich. But Sarah, answer me honestly. Why do you want to be rich?
Well, honestly, I want a nice house. I want to travel first class. I want a Ferrari.
That is the standard answer. But Housel argues that the greatest value of money is not the stuff it buys. It's the control it gives you. He writes, "The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, is priceless."
That sounds like a dream. No alarm clock, no angry boss, just freedom.
Exactly. This is called autonomy. Studies show that having control over your life is the #1 predictor of happiness. More than your salary, more than the size of your house. Speaking of houses and cars, let's talk about The man in the car paradox.
Oh, I remember this chapter. It's funny.
It is. When you see someone driving a Ferrari, you don't think, wow, the guy driving that car is so cool.
Number 1, I think, wow, if I had that car, people would think I am cool.
Precisely. You ignore the driver. The driver thinks he is getting respect, but really, people are just using his car to fantasize about themselves. It's a paradox. You can't buy respect with horsepower.
That is a burn. So being materialistic is actually a trap. You chase things to impress people, but those people don't care about you.
Right. So, if respect is the goal, be kind and humble. If freedom is the goal, save money. Which brings us to the final, hardest skill of all. Knowing when is enough.
The story of the party. Tell it, Alex. It's my favorite.
Okay, so, two writers are at a party hosted by a billionaire hedge fund manager. One writer says, "Look at this guy. He makes more money in one day than your book made in its entire history." And the other writer, Joseph Heller, smiles and says, "Yes, but I have something he will never have."
What on earth could that be?
He said, "Enough."
Chills. Every time. Enough. It's so powerful because usually the goalpost keeps moving. You get 1,000,000, you want 10. You get 10, you want 100.
And that is the recipe for misery. There is no logic in risking what you have and need for something you don't have and don't need.
What a perfect way to end. Let's do our final rapid-fire vocabulary review for this episode. First word, autonomy.
Autonomy is the right or condition of self-government, being the boss of your own time.
Second, dividend. In finance, it's a sum of money paid by a company to shareholders. But here we used it metaphorically, the dividend of happiness.
And finally, paradox. A seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement that is actually true, like the man in the car.
Alex, this book really changed my perspective. I think I'm going to stop looking at Ferrari prices and start looking at my savings account.
A wise choice, Sarah. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought. It's options. It's freedom.
Thank you all for listening to this deep dive into the psychology of money. If you learned something new, please hit that subscribe button.
And tell us in the comments, what does wealth mean to you? Is it a Ferrari or is it freedom? We want to know.
See you next time.